Here we go. I believe that we are now live. Let me share quickly the link with the fellas in our group on Facebook. Here we are. Share the link. All right, brilliant. So now I can move to our software. Perfect. All right. Welcome, everyone. This is, I believe, the 18th installment of a series of live sessions that we do here on YouTube at the moment. Italian Mastery does this every week, so we are here at 2 p.m. You can come to me and speak to me about Italian. If you have any issues learning Italian, if you have any issues with a particular topic, if you have any questions, any comments, any examples, something that you don't understand, you can come to me and speak, ask, debate, comment. And the reason why we do this is that learning Italian, like learning anything meaningful, is difficult, and doing so requires practice. So in these sessions, the idea is to be as interactive as possible. Sometimes I don't even prepare a topic. Sometimes I do. And but regardless, I'm always welcoming students to come and ask questions, interrupt, and yeah, I think that's great. So without any further ado, if you guys have any questions, we can get started. All right, we have already a few people on the chat. Mark, come va? Ciao Mark, va molto bene. Come va? Come passi la domenica? Come è stata la tua settimana? Mladen, salve. Salve. Salve is just another, I would say, slightly more polite version of ciao. Salve a te, salve a tutti. I have something prepared, but feel free to post comments or questions in the chat already if you have any questions. I know last time we talked about something very difficult. I would like not to mention it this time, the reflexive form, but if you have questions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare something for next time. This session should be easy because the last session was very, very hard, so we're going to have an easy session today. I prepared something to do with numbers, numeri. So, ciao Arturo, ciao a te. Okay, so another 30 seconds and we start. So if you have any questions, this is your chance. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about numbers. I'm going to ask you questions related to numbers today. I think numbers are very easy and very useful, right? For practicing Italian, for practicing any language. All right. Brilliant. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get started. Right. Let me know if you can hear me well, if you can see me, and more importantly, if you can see my screen, the text that I have on this side. So give me a sign, whether on the chat or maybe with the smoke signals. Tutto bene? Tutto bene. Okay, I take that as a yes, everything is fine. Tutto bene. Everything goes well. So I'm going to get started. Feel free to ask questions as we go. I will look at the chat every 2 or 3 minutes. Tutto bene. Okay, perfect. Right. So numbers are obviously very important. The reason for that is when you practice, your confidence is low, your fluency is non-existent or low. And so when you come up with simple ideas to talk about, numbers are very useful, right? Because they are part of what it is that you want to describe. So there are 2 bottles on the table. There are 2 bottles on the table. That's already a sentence that's basic, and it has numbers within it. So let's practice numbers first, and then let's look at examples. So 1 is uno. 1. Remember that something interesting about Italian is that it's a gendered language. English also is a gendered language, but Italian is particularly gendered, meaning that every noun, every word has a gender. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. So we can practice a little bit. But one thing I want to say is if we count 1, 2, 3, then we're just basically naming things. We're just going 1, 2, 3. But if we want to use the number to actually count something, so for example, if we want to say 2 bottles, then 2 is associated with bottles, right? So if the bottle is, say for example, a bottle is feminine, right? So 2 bottles, 2 bottiglie. This is because bottiglia is feminine. So plural, bottiglie. Okay. 2, the number, does not change. So the number is associated with the noun, 2 bottiglie. What if it was something masculine? 2 bicchieri. Bicchiere, glass. A glass of water. Bicchiere. That's masculine. 2 bicchieri. So as we can see, 2 is always the same. Doesn't change. So it's the same for every number. So numbers don't change. They're just a word that doesn't change. The same as in English, right? The number 2 or the number 3 does not change ever. It's always the same word. Now, there's a distinction for 1. So this is a singularity. Uno. So uno is only to be used with masculine words. Uno squalo. So this means a shark, 1 shark. However, how about girl? Girl is a feminine word. Una ragazza. This is because we are dealing with a feminine word in this case. So uno becomes una. And that's it. This is the only difference between the word uno, or 1, and every other number. So just remember that uno is slightly different in the sense that you have to be careful if it's something feminine or something masculine. Is it clear so far? This is just a point that I wanted to make about specifically 1, uno. Ciao a tutti, eccomi. Ciao Amedeo, ciao Franci. Are we happy so far? Am I moving too quickly, too slowly? Please let me know. Io capisco. Perfect. Remember, io, I, you can forget that. It's very English to, as in, an English native speaker would say, I understand, I get it. Italians would just say, understand, because capisco has within itself all the information, right? So Mark said, io capisco. Io capisco is perfect. Italians would just say capisco, right? So as I'm talking, someone could say capisco. Capisco is already from capire, to understand. It's already conjugated, right? Isco, it's already the conjugation that we need so we know who is understanding. Mark, in this case, because he was speaking. Right, brilliant. Un ragazzo, Mladen says, un ragazzo. Yes, so basically the idea is correct. It would be un ragazzo. I'm not gonna talk about indefinite articles because this is not the video about it. But the idea is that the reason why one is different is that in English you have the word one, which is a number, and then we can explain it here. You have one, and then you have a, an, and these are indefinite articles. So you have two different things, right? You have the number, and then you have the indefinite article. So if I want to say one girl, I can also say a girl or an umbrella, right? So I'm using different words in this case. I can use the articles, I can use the actual number one. In Italian, one and the indefinite article are kind of the same. They're the same word. So we don't have the luxury of working with two words or two sets of words. We only have one. So this is the reason why it's gendered. So uno squalo, una ragazza, un ragazzo, but we have to take care of the gender. Anyways, this is the only complexity. All the other numbers are just standard numbers. So I'm going to read all the numbers from 1 to 10, right? 4 is quattro. 5 is cinque. And does anybody know from 6 onward all the numbers? Does anybody want to write any of them in the chat? Do you guys know? Woo, it's a bit hot. Say, yep, Mladen is right. Say, who's going to write more numbers in the chat? So we're going to get to 10, and then we're going to practice them. I'm going to read them out, and then we're going to do examples with them. 6, 8, 9, 10. Very good. 7, okay. 8. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 10. How about 9? Nobody has written 9. Mark attempted, but it's not exactly correct. Exactly. 9. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. All right, so the numbers are 1, 2. Repeat after me. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Ok? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Let me know if you have any problems pronouncing these. We can come back to the pronunciation aspect. I'm hoping that you can see all the numbers in your screen. Yeah, brilliant, almost. Yeah. So we're going to come back to the pronunciation. Obviously, there is the trilling R for tre e quattro. There is, well, I would say nothing else. Otto. And of course, there is the problem of double consonants. So double consonants are also an issue. Okay. So let me know if you have any specific issue other than these two, because these two have to be tackled kind of separately, because pronunciation is a big deal. So it's good to know what it is that we need to do with our mouth to make the sounds and have the sounds come out correctly. So if you don't have any questions, I'm gonna go ahead with and we're gonna go through some examples. All right, let's just go through some examples. Right. Esempi. For example, there are 2 friends, but I want to specifically say that they are female friends. There are 2 friends. I would like for you guys to think about this and see if you can translate it in your head, if you can say it in Italian. If you can't, then ask me a question and post everything in the chat. Meanwhile, I'm going to be thinking about how to explain this. Right, so is a very useful thing to just remember. Then there is the number 2, and then there is the word friend. Who is going to be able to translate this one? And by the way, click like if you haven't yet. If you find these lessons useful. Okay, I'm going to copy paste your attempts. I'm not going to do anything else other than copy pasting your attempts. So be careful with your spelling, because I'm going to copy paste whatever you write. Oh, okay, terrible. Right. So I'm going to have to do this. Okay, so Mark says, ci sono 2 amiche. All right, understandable. Arturo, ci sono 2 amiche. Okay. Any other attempts? And by the way, do you... Okay, no more attempts. So let's take a look. First of all, the word for friends is amico. This is a very, very, very important word. We cannot do without it, you know. The word friend is a very basic word. And of course, simple to pronounce, amico. The feminine is amica, and the plural of the feminine form is amiche. Now, there are spelling rules when it comes to Italian, and we know that C and E is read ce in Italian. So we need to add the H to maintain the pronunciation che, right? In other words, co is read co. K is read K, but C and E is read C, reads C in Italian. So we have this problem, and we solve the problem by adding H. This is just something that I would put in my notes, right? There are soft sound and hard sounds, and we have to sometimes use the H to make a sound, to harden a sound that would otherwise be soft. That's the technical, just a technical thing. Amiche is perfectly correct. And then there is the number 2, of course, due, and then ci sono, there are. I don't understand why c'è is here. C'è is only found in what we call cumuli pronominali, which is a very difficult word and only means is the pronoun clusters that are very complicated and do exist in Italian. This is not the case. We just have a pronoun and there, or here, that's what it means. Ci sono, there are. So ci sono is something that I would encourage everyone to learn because it's super, super important. I would encourage everyone to learn it. And the same for c'è. C'è un'amica. C'è is also very, very important. So these two are very, very, very important. Very, very useful. Okay, so the number was correct. Let's try with something a bit more difficult, if nobody has questions. Mark, there is c'è. Yes, exactly. Mark, you're correct. Got it. Bravo Arturo. Bravissimo Arturo. Prego, Mark. Very polite exchange. Grazie, prego. Fantastic. Very good, both of you. Let's move on. Another example. There are 4 rabbits. And the word rabbit is something that you should be learning because it's not very uncommon. It's not uncommon to have rabbit for food in Italy. So there's types of meat that are not very common in England and the rest of the world that are common in Italy. One is rabbit, one is horse meat. There are 4 rabbits. How can we translate this sentence? And by the way, this part of the sentence we just looked at. So I'm expecting this to be a given. Mladen, ci sono 4 conigli. Perfect. Conigli with O, but typo. Ci sono. So there are. Yeah, there are. Ci sono 4 conigli. And that's the plural of coniglio. Conigli. So there are 4 rabbits. Fantastic. Okay, silly, but also sort of foundational in terms of grammar question. What's your favorite number? What's your favorite number? My favorite number is 9. So these are very simple questions, very simple sentences, but they do rely on understanding how to use the number words. So let's go. What's your favorite number? My favorite number is 9. Ok, qual è il tuo numero favorito? Ok, qual è il tuo numero favorito? I'm gonna copy paste. This is a really good attempt. So, qual è il tuo numero favorito? This is one attempt. We'll do it in red. And then we have Mladen. Do this in blue. Oh no. Ok, preferisco 5. Qual è corretto? Il mio numero favorito è 7. Okay, so here's the deal. Quale is the right word. Which is your favorite number? Quale è? So we need is, right? So quale è il tuo numero? And by the way, very well done, because you guys have added the definite article, the, il, and that's really good because in Italian you always do. If it's something random, you use the indefinite article. If it's something specific, you use the definite article. Il tuo, yours, il tuo numero. Questo è il tuo, quello è il mio, quello è il suo. We always need that definite article. Tuo numero, perfect, the word for number, numero. Qual è il tuo numero? And then, because we have two E's close to each other, to aid pronunciation, we can use the apostrophe. Not a big deal. Qual è il tuo numero? Qual è il tuo numero preferito? This is better. Favorito is okay, but somewhat somehow it sounds a bit funny. Favorito. It's just not a common word. I mean, there is a subtlety that you can learn or not. It doesn't matter. The word is preferito. So favorite, preferito. My favorite color, il mio colore preferito. My favorite number, il mio numero preferito. Favorito is sometimes used when we have, like, say, a horse race. So the horse that's most likely to win would be il favorito, but it's just, I mean, I wouldn't waste brain cells remembering that, and I would just stick to preferito unless you're in a certain field where both words are equally useful. But if you put it in Google search or in Google Trends, you will see the disparity between how common preferito is and how uncommon favorito is. Qual è il tuo numero preferito? Great, so this is the correct version. My favorite number is 9. Il mio preferito numero è 0. Lol. No, it's il mio numero favorito è 7. Preferisco 5. Ok, perfect. Preferisco 5. Il mio numero favorito è 7. Il mio preferito. Okay, so these sentences are all good. to be honest. So we have this, preferisco 5, il mio numero favorito. Okay, so it's good to hear what people's favorite numbers are. It's interesting. I particularly like 0. Very, very down to earth. My favorite number is 9. Okay, so first of all, nobody actually even tried to to get the number right, but I appreciate that, because I think a lot of what pushes me to learn new languages is being creative and being expressive, and so I like this. Preferisco 5. So this is great. Preferisco 5. Preferisco 5 means I prefer 5, and it's 100% fine in context. For example, you go to the market and you ask for 5 apples, right? Vorrei 5 mele. I would like 5 apples. And the person that's selling the apples, their salesman, they say, oh, there is a discount if you get 6. Then you can say, preferisco 5. No, grazie. Preferisco 5. No, thanks. I'll go with 5. No, thanks. I prefer 5. In terms of the context that we're working with now, right? What's your favorite number? My favorite number is preferisco 5. It's not what I would expect, right? Il mio numero favorito è 7. Again, same issue as before. This is perfectly understandable. It's mostly correct. Il mio numero favorito. Notice how favorito is coming after the noun, because this is Italian. So that's correct. Il mio numero favorito è 7. È should be with the grave accent. So this is important, right? It is. It is always uses the grave accent. Il mio preferito numero è 0. Okay, so this is correct in the ways that the previous one wasn't, and incorrect in the ways that the previous one was. Meaning, è is perfect. Preferito numero doesn't sound too good. Completely understandable. This is good Italian, but it's not perfect. It should be il mio numero preferito. So that's using the right word in the right place and with the right accents and phonetic markers. So this is correct. Il mio numero preferito è 0. Il mio numero favorito. Yeah, favorito is a bit of a strange word. It's not wrong, so it's a bit of a, yeah, but don't use it. It's not wrong, but don't use it. Right, do we have any questions? Or are we comfortable with numbers? Do we want to move to other numbers? Are we ready? I think we're going to have another 5-10 minutes with some other weird, bizarre numbers, and then we end it here because it's already more than half an hour talking about numbers. I don't know how you guys managed to stay this long with, you know, with the topics that are very it's very difficult to make these topics sound easier than they are, or more difficult. Like this is interesting. I was cheating a little on my grammar. That's great. Cheating is good. I think that cheating is in the way that you've done it, which means being humble and smart and make things work with what you have, as opposed to go like, sorry, I don't have everything I need, is a great way to improve on your vocabulary. You use 5 words to express an idea, and then you refine it. That's the way. Non è problema, Mark. Exactly. You're great. That's why we stay. I'm learning a lot. That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Arturo has the same approach. Non è problema. Non è un problema. Non è un problema. It's always good to have the article in front of the word. Yeah, it's very good to simplify. If you don't know how to say something, just say something similar with simple words, and it might turn out very interesting, like it did in this case. Right. So the floor is yours. Do you guys have any questions at all? I would say if we want to go beyond 10, then the idea is that the only other numbers we have to learn past 10 is basically 11 to 19, because then all other numbers are going to be essentially repetitions of the previous numbers, just like in English, right? 56, 57, 58. I don't have to learn every new number as its own thing. Everything uses previous numbers. The same in Italian. It follows a very close pattern. Let's just read them out, just for completeness sake. Let's just go from 11 to 20. So 11 is 11. 12, 12. 13, 13. Maybe you can see patterns already. 14, 15. So they all end somehow with dici. And this could potentially stand for 10, right? 10. And then these 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, queen. These are sort of words that come from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? If we remember the first 10 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So going back to this, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Does anybody know 16, 17? Let's remove this. 16, 17, 18, 19. All right, una domanda. Using numbers with time, we always use plural articles. Dalle 11 alle 20. Dalle 11 alle 20. Okay, M. Laden is writing something interesting. Dalle 11 alle 20. Because that's not what I thought. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, let's copy paste some of this in our video. Right, so there's a few things that people have written in the chat. They go from interesting to very interesting. So, dalle 11 alle 20. Okay. Then we have an attempt to write all the numbers. Then Mark follows with another attempt to write all the numbers. Numbers are very basic, but I think it's always good to practice and have solid foundations as opposed to just building a castle of sand. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 17. Oh, okay, because it needs two S's. Yeah, that's right. 17, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Very close. I mean, this is not. This is a genuine attempt, and this is great. 19, 18. I'm not gonna teach you the spelling because I mean I can't write in any language, so my spelling is terrible. But I think, yeah, this was very much spot on. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. These are things that we need to learn by heart, unfortunately, but a good asset. 16, 17, 18, 19. Then all the other numbers follow suit, and I am going to explain to you in the last 2 minutes of this session why all the other numbers are super easy. So you already know them. If you know 1 to 10, then you know all the other numbers. The difficult part is to learn 1 to 10 and then 11 to 19. That's the difficult part. Before that, I would like to say a few words. 11, 15. I don't understand this suggestion. Right. I would like to spend a few words with this, right? So it is true, and it's related to a question that was asked about the plural articles. So here's the idea. So if we talk about time, if we say from 11 to 20, right? From 11 to 20, we're talking about numbers. We're not talking about time now. Say this is a math class. From 11 to 20. From the number 11 to the number 20. So what's implicit is the word number, right? When I say from 11 to 20, what's implicit is number. So from 11 to 20, what I really mean is from the number 11 to the number 20. For this reason, since the word number is numero, and that's masculine, for this reason, we say dal, so da 11, da il 11 a il 20. Da il 11 a il 20. Of course, preposition plus article in Italian, they form complex prepositions. So, dal 11 al 20. And because this would be lo, basically we need the double L with the apostrophe, dall'11 al 20. This is a point that's tangent to what I'm explaining now. Dall'11 al 20. The point is 11 and 20 are numbers. So they are masculine because they represent a number. The number 11, the number 20. Now, if we're talking about time, right? And I say from 11 to 20, what do I actually mean? from the hour 11 to the hour 20. Especially in Italian, because in Italian we say che ora è. We don't say what's the time. We say what's the hour. Which hour is it? Is it 5? Is it 6? Sono le 6. It is 6 o'clock. But the actual translation is it is the 6 hours. It is the 6 hours. Now the word for hour in Italian, ora, is feminine. Sono le 6. Che ore sono? Sono le 6. Ok? Example. Che ore sono? Sono le 6. 6. So this is just an example. Che ore sono? Sono le 6. So this is just to remind us that when we talk about time in Italian, we talk about hours. An hour is a feminine word. So, from the hour 11, or actually from the 11 hours to the 20 hours, becomes dalle 11 alle 20. Exactly like I think Mladen wrote in the chat. So yes, we use the plural feminine only because the implicit word that we don't explicitly say is ore, le ore 6, le ore 7. So that's a feminine plural word, le ore. So then we treat the numbers as hours because that's the word that's beneath it all. I hope it makes sense, and I believe this is it. I'm now going to spend 1 minute explaining. In fact, I mean, this is really just 1 second. I'm just going to say that from here on, from 19, we have words like 20, 21, 22, 23, 21, 22, 23. So it's super easy. From here on, you can study it by yourself. You don't need my help. You can just take a look on books, Google, films, songs, and it's going to be always the same. 20 plus the number. 21, 22, 23, 24. The same for 30. You're just going to have to learn the word for 30, and then you just add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 100. This is it. Finished. End of the session. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to put a like if you haven't yet. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm sorry if I was too quick. I'm sorry if I was too slow. Give me some feedback. I appreciate all the feedback in chat, in the comments, privately. It really helps me to make these sessions more interesting and more useful. Ciao a tutti. Grazie a tutti. Oh, Mark, devo partire. Ok, ciao Mark. Alla prossima. Ci vediamo alla prossima. Buona settimana. Buona domenica. Arturo, very helpful. Grazie Arturo, grazie molte. Grazie insegnante, salve. Grazie a te, grazie a voi. Grazie, alla prossima, Amedeo, Fiore. Grazie Claudio. Bene, buona giornata a tutti. Don't forget, we meet here 2 p.m. GMT every Sunday. Visit italianmastery.com for more information. Of course, we have the university course, which is the best course in the world to learn Italian. Ask me for anything, and I hope you have a good week and a good day. Bye. Ciao a tutti, a presto, e studiate italiano. Alla prossima!